All right, we're going to start with the first portion of the Rec League Avengers Endgame discussion. It's been out, 2 full weekends now? 600 and some odd domestically, number 9. It crossed 2 million worldwide. It's days away, maybe a couple weeks away. Like, catching Avatar at this point is inevitable. Like Thanos is inevitable. Spoiler discussion. Nothing is off limits. But before we get into Avengers, I want to, RIP, one of the GOATs, John Singleton, passed away. I just real quick want to get y'all favorite John Singleton movie. I think it's a little cliche to say Boys in the Hood, but it's a great movie. Like, that's the go-to, but that's my favorite. Like, we cliche over here. Whoever want to start, the other one could just jump in and cut them off. Like, that's how we do over here. Eric, man. You start, and then next question, Nick, you'll start.
Cool.
It's fair, right?
So this is what Boys in the Hood is. It's probably pound for pound his best movie, his first movie. But if I have to eliminate that, I would say Higher Learning.
It's probably most underrated.
Yeah, definitely most underrated. But it's out of all his movies, other than Boys in the Hood, it's probably the most relevant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it doesn't age. You know, maybe technology-wise, a pager or two will pop up. But other than that, the issues are real and still the same.
Still the same, no doubt.
Yeah, and it's Higher Learning has to be his. I'll throw one more in, his best commercial movie. I probably have to say Four Brothers.
Yeah, I watched that a few months ago, man. Four Brothers is so dope.
Yeah, I think, is that the movie that started his relationship with Tyrese, or was that after Baby Boy?
Nah, Baby Boy was 01.
Yeah. He's what, 3-4 movies with Tyrese?
Baby Boy, Too Fast, Four Brothers. Was Tyrese in Abduction?
I don't think so.
I think 3. I haven't seen Abduction.
3. Yeah. But that's unfortunately, I think Abduction is his last feature film.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I don't want to bash it, but it's like that sucks. Like, he was such a dope filmmaker that I'm sure he had other ideas, man. But have y'all seen Snowfall?
Have not. That's a TV show, right?
Yeah, on FX.
Yeah,
it's
that's
phenomenal.
What he stepped into, just producing TV.
Yeah,
and just hanging back.
Yep.
Yeah, but no, those are my answers right there, and yeah, it's a great loss. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, man. What you got, Nick?
Boys in the Hood, I think it's just like you said. Like, it's not only is just a great movie. Like, it really is. Just sitting back, just watch Boys in the Hood. It's a great movie. But it was such a. I said in my post when he died, like, it was like a trailblazing thing, because there really weren't movies like that at the time that were that honest and like real about those subjects.
That's why I put something similar.
Yeah, like that, and those actors that he got, were so good for those roles and went on to do such great things, and it went on to inspire other people to make other movies like Menace to Society and South Central, movies like that came after. So I think you kind of got to go Boys in the Hood. It's been a long time since I've watched Higher Learning. Like, it's probably been like 15 since that point. And it sucks. Like I say, like it's because I want to go back and rewatch it. It takes somebody to go back and like rewatch the filmography. So that sucks. But I will say, I don't know if it's like definitively like my next favorite one, but I do love Four Brothers. Like, I think Four Brothers is like an underrated. Like, you kind of lump it in like, oh, it's Walmart, like Wahlberg action movie, but like I love Four Brothers. Like, Four Brothers made me cry. Like, most movies don't. Like, you lose somebody, it's like, damn, rest in peace. I remember like watching that like in the theater and like being like, oh my god, this is the hardest death I've ever. Like, this is so sad. So yeah, I'll like honorable mention. I'll throw out Four Brothers. But I really like going through, other than Abduction, which I've also not seen, but like his whole filmography was pretty great. Like, I used to watch Baby Boy on Cinemax like every time it was on. I was like 11 or something, and I just felt like a grown up. Like, I was like, oh, Baby Boy's on. Be right back. Like,
yeah.
You gotta go watch.
I need to find Rosewood on TV and like stash it on my DVR until I can get a chance to watch it.
Yeah.
And then like Poetic Justice, man, Baby Boy, Too Fast. Like these big commercial movies were probably Too Fast, Too Furious, and then Four Brothers.
Yeah.
I wonder, like, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall at the studio meeting. Like, what's his name? Like Taylor Lautner coming off Twilight. Like, here, you want to make a movie? Here's this young up and coming actor. Make a movie based around him. I just wonder how that went.
Yeah.
And then next, just real quick, like I don't even care about getting deep into this. What y'all think about Sonic? Were y'all crying over the look? Do you care? Like, how cool is it? Are they gonna? I think, like I put on the Rec League Twitter pod on the Rec League Twitter page. I feel like they animated two different Sonics, an ugly one and a game accurate one, and they wanted to like test the waters with the ugly Sonic. You got your negative reaction. This one's all ready to go. The movie's ready. We fooled you all. So they're not gonna animate a new Sonic in like 7 months, right?
Right.
I don't like. I'm just like, people are acting like Sonic the Hedgehog is like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Or something. Like they're like
Mario.
Like, this is not my Sonic, and it's like, what? Like I don't. Like he doesn't look good. Like I'm not gonna be like the one that says the movie looks great. Like it doesn't look good.
No, the movie looks bad.
But like, there were pictures of Sonic that came out like months ago. I made a joke about like when Bird Box came out. I like posted a picture and was like, "This is the Bird Box monster that everyone sees." Sonic. So like, it's been a long time. I don't know how so many people missed like the leaked photos.
I think I did.
Like,
yeah, you missed the one with what's his name, Star Lord, when that supposedly that poster. You know that one, Nick, right?
Yeah.
What's his name? Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a leaked posters. He and Sonic are like on top of the car chilling, and it was a concept poster.
I'll have to look it up. I probably saw it and just forgot it because like I like Sonic. Everybody plays Sonic, but I just don't care. I mean, I'm more gonna see it for like goofy Jim Carrey again.
Yeah, Jim Carrey is gonna be the strength of this movie,
no doubt.
That's what people are like freaking out that he doesn't look like Robotnik or what. And again, I'm like, so what? Like, I don't like. Did you think he was gonna come out there like a full circle shaped?
Right.
Like, I don't know.
But the last scene of the trailer, you know.
Yeah.
He's gonna look more like him by the end. I just don't like. It's cooler to me that Jim Carrey is doing like a manic comic role for the first time in like 5 years.
Yeah.
Then it like that's cool to me more than I'm like concerned that the Sonic the Hedgehog movie isn't gonna be like Oscar worthy. Like I'm just like,
yeah. It's just the world we live in. Like let's cry until we get our way. And this is the first time I think a studio's ever said, "Okay, we'll change it. You're gonna give us your dollar and see the movie anyway."
I mean, it's weird that they didn't try to make it look more like Sonic. Like I don't know why they gave him like a human body and like teeth. Like it's weird. Like it's weird choices for sure. But I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah, but you know what played into this mostly is Sega doesn't have any final say. They're just basically consultants.
That sucks.
It shows.
Yeah, and sit over there in the corner and we'll ask you if we want your advice, consultants. Type of consultants.
Hey Sega, we're gonna turn the rings green. Okay.
I guess. Like,
and if you have a sharp eye into the rings are also going to be transportation devices.
Like little Doctor Strange portals?
Yeah, little portals. There you go.
Huh.
Because why not?
Yeah.
It's like,
we need a loophole in the story.
James Marsden, like, shout out to him for looking the exact same as he did in Hop.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I saw that too.
Like he's making the same movie choices and everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's no more X-Men movies, man.
What was the last movie he was even in?
Probably
Anchorman 2.
Fourth build movie. I mean, because he gets work, but you can't name that one movie.
X-Men 3. Or wait, Days of Future Past for like 15 seconds.
Yeah. I'm more just like, every movie, it's like, I'm more concerned that it's like falling back on that like cliche. Like every time they make a live action version of like a cartoon or something like that, it's always like cartoon character meets a human character.
Yeah.
The new
And they
Rugrats.
Bring him to our world.
Or like, yeah, Yogi Bear, Alvin and the Chipmunks, like all that stuff. It's all like,
Gross.
you know, befuddled like guy has to like, he's the only one that can talk to the cartoon character.
Yeah.
This just looks like more of that.
And I think this is why Detective Pikachu is gonna be. I'm liking from the trailers what they're doing with that. It's the world of Pokemon, but it's still realistic to our world. If that makes
It makes more sense doing
Right.
it because that's what Pokemon is. Like it's
Right.
humans interacting with the creatures. I think Detective Pikachu is going to make a lot of money. I think it's
I
gonna,
hope so. Yeah.
I'm starting to hear kind of more mixed reactions. When it first came out, it was like the first reactions to it were really positive. I'm starting to hear more mixed now, but I think it's going to make a lot of money. Like now that everyone's kind of seen Avengers a couple times, I think
Yeah.
it's going to come out with like a pretty high opening. Not as high as Sonic. Yeah.
Yeah, but now I got a problem with that too. Like Transformers is what 4 or 5 or maybe even 6, but I would have liked to have seen Cybertron
Yeah.
in his prime. No pun intended. But
The befuddled human has to like hide their existence from his parents or whatever. And it's like, oh boy. That's
yeah,
what
that's just
lost their minds over the first Transformers, and that was what I thought even back then. I was like, it was good, but I was like, kind of just another movie like that. But turns out that was still the best one. So if you'd have told me back then, I'd have been pissed. I was like, it's not going to get better than this.
no.
It's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
But whatever.
All right, let's slide into Endgame. How many times you guys seen it?
I've seen it twice.
Same.
Actually, I haven't seen it yet, but no, I'm just joking.
Call disconnected.
No, I saw it once. And going to see it tomorrow. Actually,
Cool.
again tomorrow.
Who got up to use the restroom?
Not I.
Either time.
Strong bladders,
2 for 2.
especially for me. I never got up.
Big bucket of popcorn helped too. Just,
Right.
Have a drink. Like I didn't.
We all grown, man. It's 2019 though. Who cried?
Yes.
I did not cry. I like, you know, it was just like one of those things like he did it, you know, he did it for all of us.
Yeah.
But like the tattooed like large gentleman beside me was like like straight up. I'm not making fun. Like I'm not.
No.
Like he was like exhaling and like, you know, the quiet moments following certain scenes, like you just hear sniffles and stuff and like the big ass IMAX theater, you just and so I was like, wow, this is it.
Man, like
But
I'm a
no,
big
I
as
can't-
I'm a big MCU fan as anybody, man. But somebody was cutting onions. There was perspiration or whatever you want to call it. There was build up. Nothing fell though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like 5 times.
Mm.
Because it was.
Yeah,
it was-
multiple times my like
I
heart
could-
sank.
I lost.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
couldn't stop him. We lost Tony. That hit me.
Mm-hmm.
And like
Yeah.
Tony's whole decrepit wheelchair scene, recalling Ultron. You're like, I said, what about up there? You said we lose too. You said we lose together, and you weren't there. And then like I cringed, like he ripped. Like I know it's like the nanotech, like it's not in him anymore, but he ripped that off his chest, put it in Cap's hand. Like damn, like man, this is heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like even immediately, like the Hawkeye scene right in the middle,
Yeah.
the beginning, I thought was phenomenal way to open the movie. Just like that small way to open the movie.
Yeah.
And I knew what was coming 100%. I feel like everyone did. Like you know it's what. But like right when it happened, like my head was in my hands like immediately. Like 2 minutes in the movie, I was like, oh, this
Yeah.
is.
And you could tell they knew we would know it. This the way they played it, the way they shot it. And
Yeah. Like you know it's coming, but I was just like, this got real fast. Like I was like, they
right.
wouldn't know time
Yeah.
for this. So
It was the perfect way to open because I like thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like I told y'all last time, my man's was like, how do they open the movie? Like, what are they gonna do to open this movie? And it never clicked. Like Hawkeye's effect on the decimation. Like, oh, It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
They really, because as soon as like opened just with the era, and it was like everyone goes shh, like everyone got quiet like so fast. I was like, this is nice. This is a nice change of pace.
Right.
You have little kids just making noise, and everybody was like, nope, nope.
And like what I feel like was a nice touch. Like I'm jumping ahead like 10 minutes, but what I felt like was a nice touch was like Thanos was really out there farming.
Yeah.
Legit, like clothes, fruit, cooking, all of that. Like he took it back to like I don't know, like 1953. He was really out there farming.
Yeah, and like he had his scarecrow up.
Yeah.
As if he didn't wipe out half of the population of crows, and he were gonna get there. Like, yeah, like he was like not kidding. He was like, I'm gonna smile, you know,
and rest.
And like that's what he did. Like he wasn't kidding. Like he was happy out there.
Watch
So,
the
like,
sunset on a balanced universe.
Yeah, dressed like Shrek.
Oh yeah,
Like
exactly like Shrek.
like he did what he said he was gonna do. It's like she says. Like he was not playing around. Now he's happy.
And see, like I think, I don't know. Like I wasn't in the writers' room. I had no input. I'm not collecting any of this 2 point whatever billion. But like I wanted to see the end battle with the Thanos that snapped everybody. And we basically got Thanos from like Guardians of the Galaxy. And it was still phenomenal. I still geeked out. But it's still not the Thanos that actually did it. If I had to have a nitpick.
But you know what? That's what threw us all for a loop. And when Thor did what he did, you know, spoiler, when Thor went for the head, like, okay, this is 8 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, so I was like, so what now?
Even though we knew time travel was going to happen, like, man.
Right. Oh, man, that's something I wanted to write down. Like, what did we say last podcast that we actually got right? I think maybe just the time travel.
Yeah. It was like, we were talking about, like, the whole thing, like, do you think that all the footage in the trailers was actually from the first 20 minutes?
And it wasn't.
And, like, it wasn't, but I was surprised at how much what. Like,
most of it was.
Like, there were, you know, like, the whole, like, them on the spaceship and Captain Marvel, like, pretty much all the Captain Marvel footage was, like, from that. And, like, I would have bet, you know, they're on a spaceship, they're going to, and, like, Cap shaving his beard. Like, I thought that there was going to be more stuff, like, him shaving his beard later or something. I don't know. But I was, like, shocked at how much, you know, all that was just from that first, you know, 10, 15 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. But speaking of the trailers, stuff that I've noticed, that they subtle changes. What's her name? Black Widow's hair in the scene when Ant-Man comes in the trailer, her hair is blonde. They CG'd her hair. The scene, the Do You Trust Me scene, they CG Cap's suit, so we wouldn't know that they were in the past. Because in the movie it was the 2012 Cap suit.
Oh, okay.
And in the movie they darkened it to look like the modern one or whatever. And another scene, they obviously don't show Professor Hulk and Thor, and then the hero walk, the quantum suits.
When I got another one, when Rocket's on War Machine's shoulder, like Ant-Man's not behind him. In the movie, he was big as fuck.
Right, that's true. And it's some other little subtle ones, but you know, Marvel marketing is real smart about that. But the Russos announced that tomorrow, Monday, is the end of the spoiler ban. But
when this
TV
podcast
spot marketing didn't get that memo.
No, they didn't.
They're showing Fat Thor and all.
That's what I was telling people at work. Like, as soon as the movie come out, the TV spots got all the spoilers.
Yeah.
I've seen Fat Thor. I've seen Professor Hulk. I've seen
Cap versus Cap.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Have I seen? Yeah, I've seen her.
Mm-hmm. And they had the Cap versus Cap shot when they banging the shields.
Yep. Which, like, come on, like that was such a good part in the movie.
That is America's ass.
You know there's time travel, but you don't know for sure until you see it. So it's like, and even still, it's like you don't know what they're gonna do when they get, like, even I didn't, like, when it was like 2012.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, what are they gonna do? And like I didn't know they were gonna get into all the stuff that they got into. So like showing the Cap versus Cap was kind of lame. Like I was like, I guess like if you're not that into it, like if you're like a casual watcher, you could be like,
at this point, if you want to see Endgame, like whether you watching or whether you listen, at this point, if you're gonna go watch movie 22 and you haven't seen the previous movies, you're just doing yourself an injustice.
Yeah.
I went and saw like okay, so my mom has been home all week and I've been hanging out with her. And just to keep us entertained, I got her into it a little. She had seen some just like here and there, so I had her rewatch Avengers 1, Age of Ultron, Civil War, and then I had her watch Ragnarok, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Infinity War. She had already seen Homecoming and Black Panther and like maybe some other ones here and there, but like just to like get her ready for Endgame because I was like, I'm gonna go see it again. So I took her to see it, and she was into it enough that she definitely cried watching Endgame. Just like with I thought that those were pretty like okay choices, but I was like, even the people like if you aren't even doing that much work, like watching at least like the last few or like Wikipedia, like look it up to see what you missed.
I
like,
read the synopses.
Like any work. Yeah, like the synopses. Like I looked up the synopsis.
Wink, wink.
Then like sorry you didn't enjoy it.
Yeah.
3-hour movie that was like, for, the people.
And what's the name? Like I feel like Chris Evans had like way more curses in his script this time. Like, did y'all think language every time Cap cursed?
Yeah,
I know I did.
Language to being the one who cussed the most in the movie.
Yeah.
Like you've got to be shitting me.
Yeah. Let's go.
Let's go get this son of a bitch.
Like,
yeah. And of course, then
that is America's ass.
Oh man,
that was funny. I'm sorry, but that shit was funny. I don't know who made it funnier, like Ant-Man just like fanboying out over Cap's ass in the Loki capture scene, or him beating himself and then just like confirming, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tony's tripping.
A lot more comedy. Like they're always funny.
Yeah.
But like the amount of comedy that they got out of the premise was also surprising to me. Like I was like, this is gonna be the darkest chapter.
Yeah, just
like, it was like funny. It was like might have even been one of the funnier movies. Just like them playing around with the time travel and getting all those characters together, and like it just like made way for like more comedy than I expected, which I enjoyed. Like there weren't any like jokes that I thought were like lame or inappropriate. Like that feels out of place.
I don't think
I thought it was
like 100% of humor never works in any movie. But I'm never one of these like, oh, Marvel movie, like I don't want to laugh. Like, you know what you're getting into by now.
No, like there's definitely like it's like it just works. Like the image of the Hulk, like eating food and like wearing glasses, like that's funny. So they didn't try to like push it too hard. He's just like
first
like,
time,
that's funny.
Yeah, like first time around, I thought Professor Hulk was kind of lame, and I was let down by like the lack of Hulk in Infinity War was such a huge part of that movie. I wanted to see how Banner and Hulk came to this agreement. I just didn't want dialogue of, hey, we made a compromise and now we take pictures of the kids.
Yeah.
And it took me maybe until Tony showed up at the compound to like, okay, yeah, like I can tolerate Hulk like this. But it took some getting used to.
Mm-hmm. And let me go ahead, Nick.
I was just real quick. The Hulk was fine. To me, like, it didn't bother me. Like, just because I think we talked about how we kind of thought Professor Hulk was coming.
Yeah.
So, like, I was like, oh, that's now. To me, and I wouldn't even say, like, I had trouble adjusting to it. It was more jarring, like, the Thor thing.
Yeah.
Like, they really committed to this for the whole rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Nah, like, not the Thor thing. Everything's on the table. Spoilers.
Oh, yeah.
Thor got fat. Because I think that was like the storytelling way of saying that he took the snap the hardest.
Yeah, of course. Because he could have was the closest to stopping it. And he's just depressed and
ate his feelings.
And one thing I liked about that, another thing I like, of course it's played for a joke, but they didn't just play it for a joke and get rid of it.
Yeah.
They kept.
So they committed to it for the whole. But it was like weird because it was funny. Like the first image of him out was like a big laugh. But I liked that it was like, because he did, I think, take it the hardest because he didn't go for the head. And like even that scene in the shack, like where he's like crying about it, like it worked. Like I was like, it makes sense that he would have just kicked back and just kind of let himself go and not done his job as much as like Nat and Cap stayed doing their jobs.
Yeah. And speaking of Nat, Natalie Portman. Now I don't know if you heard that. I know you know that the footage in Endgame is archive footage of her.
Yeah.
Is it?
And they did go after her, and she had a problem with the
Patty
way they
Jenkins.
got rid of the original director of The Dark World,
who made a great Wonder Woman movie.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it was Patty Jenkins, right?
Yep.
And so she just turned him down outright. So that this footage in Endgame is archive footage.
But then she showed up at the premiere.
Yeah, that's supporting her friends, I guess.
I guess. So then I kind of didn't put my foot in my mouth because I said on Twitter, everybody's seeing Natalie Portman at this Endgame premiere. Twitter instantly assumed she's in the movie.
Yeah.
And then she was in the movie, but I didn't know that was archive.
Because also think about this.
Didn't she have lines?
No, she didn't.
Not so much. There's something in there about like when they gave her clothes. Like, they gave her dress to wear, and you hear her.
You hear speaking.
Okay.
He's like, do you have pants? And they were like, what are pants? And
yeah.
This will work. But, like, Thor and Rocket are off, like, talking. So it's like you don't play.
Right. It's just throwaway in the background.
But, yeah.
All right.
But the screenwriters, because notice how much Thor interacts with his mother.
Yeah.
During that scene. That was supposed to be Jane.
No shit.
According to the screenwriters.
I think I like the mother better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it works. I liked it. I'm glad it went that route.
Because we would have all, I think, in that situation, I would have wanted to talk to my mom.
Yeah, no doubt.
But no, that was just an interesting little tidbit on that. But
and that's
they made it work.
Like again, Fat Thor was only for laughs. But without Fat Thor, we don't get like that money. Like everybody's saying, "I love you 3000." That's one of the most touching, sweetest moments of the movie. But without Fat Thor, we don't get that Lebowski line, and I died when Tony said that. Cause he had that sweater on and all.
Like they milked it. It wasn't just fat jokes. Like I think there's some people taking issue. I haven't really seen anything though. Like they play the one thing like, oh, it's a fat joke. But like the rest of it, it's not that he's fat. It's just like while they're all talking about the plan, he's like drunk, asleep and shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Like gets up, he's just like a drunk. Like the whole thing was funny. Like talking about the ether and like it's not actually a stone, it's a sludge. So I don't know who said it was a stone. And like it just worked. Like it was just funny. Like it makes sense that 5 years would have changed the character.
Right. And Nick, in that throwaway line.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. In that throwaway line, he picked something that the little nitpickers had a problem with.
Mm-hmm.
With the ether being because people were complaining about like, it wasn't a stone in Dark World. It was now all of a sudden a stone. You know, some people did complain about it, but I'm glad they addressed that.
Everybody complains.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fix everything for everybody at all times.
Did they kind of turn him into Aquaman though?
You talk about the look a little bit,
and like the location and drinking.
I thought that the second time I saw it, I was like, "This isn't not like." I was like, "It's like a thing doc," but it kind of came and went really quick once it came out and he was fat. Then it was just like, he's fat.
Yeah.
Did Jason Momoa kind of get like a consulting check?
Yeah, and like now that we're on that, did they ever? They never talked about how Valkyrie and like Korg and them survived.
Yeah. I guess for that is just you go with the kill half, save half of Thanos's.
But he blew up the ship. I guess they can survive in space.
Yeah, I mean, remember they left before the movie started. That's what I'm thinking because it was a distress call.
Yeah, but the Guardians were on their way to answer the call, and when they got there, everything was blown up.
Yeah.
I guess we're not supposed to.
See, that too. Speaking of the Guardians, will Thor be in Volume 3?
Yeah, the Asgardians of the Galaxy.
I hope they don't call it that, but yeah.
They won't.
I don't think James Gunn is like, no, don't alter my title, bro.
Nah. There's possibility of an extended cameo. I hope so.
I do too.
I think he's gonna be in it. I don't think he'll be like in the movie. Like, I don't think it's gonna be Chris Pratt, Chris Hemsworth,
Right.
Galaxy 3. I think like Thor will be maybe in it, but like off doing something for most of the movie.
Yeah.
While they
It'll be like Robert Downey in Homecoming.
Yeah.
yeah, like that. It's like
Yeah.
I still
I
dig
think
that.
he's but also not gonna be a permanent member of the team.
Yeah.
Maybe he will. Like maybe maybe we're wrong. I don't know.
Supposedly, Taika Waititi pitched a Thor 4 to Marvel.
Mm.
I think
I'm down for
Thor
more
needs
Thor.
to be in more movies. Like he's not even, like I said, like he's still young. Like,
Yeah.
he's like 34, 35. Like, and Ragnarok was like easily Thor's biggest.
No doubt.
So
Best Thor movie.
yeah, so
For sure.
I think at least one more Thor solo movie because like he's really the only one who's still active by the end of the movie. Like
Yeah.
I presume Hawkeye is trying to stay retired
Right, with his family.
and like Cap is old. They should make another Cap movie.
He's old. I don't know if I was going that direction, but do y'all think that Anthony Mackie gets his own Cat movie, or does he become like a supporting Avenger?
Now, what they got the show? That's my question. What's the?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the show is gonna be about what Falcon is Cap or
Is he gonna be Captain America on Disney Plus?
I think if I had to guess, I think they're gonna tread the waters with him like in another movie as Cap first to like if people like love it, and then maybe give him his own movie. I think like either they'll do like another Avengers or like another some kind of assembling kind of Civil War-esque like movie where they're all together, and that'll be like a reveal, like oh look at his suit or something. Like they'll like kind of like introduce him in another movie.
You can't lose a battle rap to Eminem and then get the shield.
Now, let me ask you this, or both of you, something we haven't mentioned, and I'm sure, or hopefully we share the same theory on it. Loki. In Endgame.
Yeah, I was hoping there was going to be something at the end. Because, like, I don't know. Like, the whole time travel thing, it's like they acted like, this is set. Like, these are rules that shit. But, like, it's all bullshit. Like, no, but we all kind of only half really understood. Like,
Yeah.
They could have changed it, and I'd have been like, okay, I guess. But, like, the whole thing with Loki picking up the Tesseract and disappearing in 2012, I thought maybe that they were going to do something fun with that later in the movie. Like, maybe even, like, I was waiting for an end credits scene. Like, I had heard that there wasn't one, and then I was like, I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
I sat through the credits a second time.
What if he just showed up somewhere holding the Tesseract? Like, I don't know how that would have screwed up the space-time continuum or whatever the fuck, but I was like, I would buy that. I would be like, oh, Loki's alive.
But the theory is, at least mine. So everybody's asking, what is the Loki TV show going to be about?
That's what I was just gonna say.
And that's got to be a backdoor way to get him, into his television show somehow.
Yeah, it's like you plug the stones back in where you got them. Cap created his own alternate reality, but I don't think that affects 2012 and that Tesseract. So yeah, that could be a backdoor into his show, which could be cool.
I read somewhere that someone, and I don't even know if it's real. Like, I don't believe everything I read until like I read it for sure from somebody important.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I read somewhere that the Loki show might be about him, just like in important moments in time, like history.
I heard that too.
Like how he affected those moments. Like he's the reason the Leaning Tower is leaning or something like that.
So he's like Disney's
funny.
Pennywise.
Yeah, like I don't know if I love that for a show, but like
Yeah.
that's kind of funny.
The coolest idea I've heard from Disney Plus is like that what if Peggy Carter was Captain America show.
Mhm.
That sounds cool.
That would be cool. I think it's gonna be. Did they say that that's gonna be animated?
I think so.
That would probably make more sense than getting like all of those actors to do all those crazy things.
Yeah. There's like all these Phase 4 like supposed like rumors and stuff like this movie all start filming at this time, and it's like so many people are saying this, but Disney and Marvel aren't saying anything.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just waiting for Comic-Con.
Right, I'm sure we've all seen. I've seen like 3 different versions of the list of the future movies.
Yeah, man.
Man.
Those lists get on my nerves so much.
Yeah, like the people on my Facebook that like, and like that box set, like the Blu-ray box set.
Like, that's not coming out
immediately.
Like, and I see so many people like, well, better start saving my money.
Where do
now.
I pre-order?
Yeah.
So, bro, like Universal and Sony, like if I was Disney, like I'm just not messing with Universal and Sony to even try to get that box set put out.
Disney don't. I'm trying to think of the last box set Disney even put out.
Like Phase 1.
Yeah, like they don't. Not 22 movies in a box set. Who does it? It's gonna be
That's
like
insane.
$400.
Yeah.
I don't know, and like most people already have them anyway. Like I wouldn't buy the box set.
Mhm.
It'd be tempting, but I just from my collector head. But
Right.
buy it.
Were there any were there any parts of the movie that like threw you off and like gave you headaches, but then like you just settled like, well, if you plug the stone back in, it's not an issue. Like 3 different times that happened to me, and I had to let it go.
Yeah, let's hear them.
I think now you're gonna make me try to remember. I think it was Mjolnir, him taking, because one of my boys brought up Thor taking the hammer from the Dark World Asgard, and then Cap taking it when he plugged the stones back in. See, that was my mentality. Like Cap just put it back; it was never gone because Cap put it back.
Right.
And then him coming back with the shield, I think was like just alternate reality. He never became Captain America, so the shield was never used, so he could pass that shield on because Thanos destroyed his.
Mm-hmm. Oh, speaking of which, just backing on one thing, the shield in the commercial wasn't broken.
Right.
The shield in the trailer and then of course in the movie. Speaking of alteration, but I'm sorry to throw that in there.
Nah, you good. One of my biggest disappointments in the whole like past few years, we never got Tony's vision from Ultron. Like what he saw, what Scarlet Witch put in his head, we never got that. And like when that set picture came out with Spider-Man, Star-Lord, and Iron Man like in front of like what looked like that same set, I was like, yes, we're getting it in one of these Avengers movies, and it just never happened.
Yeah.
I thought maybe like, there's a part of me thought that like, okay, they'll play around with time travel. Doctor Strange said, and I looked through all these different things, and we only won one of them. I thought maybe since it was 3 hours, I was like, well, maybe they're gonna go through a few of the ones where they don't win, and then be like, shit.
That would have been cool.
And like go back and like, well, we screwed that up.
Thanos, I've come to make a bargain.
Yeah, like I thought maybe we would get the Age of Ultron thing, and then that would like mess up Tony's game, and then he'd go back and they'd be like, oh, let's just do it again. He'd be like, no, I can't do it again. And I don't know. I'm getting dramatic, but like I also thought maybe that would show, because he even mentions it in the beginning of the movie. He said he had a vision, and Age of Ultron ended up being kind of an important one to rewatch before this one.
Yeah.
I showed it to my mom, and I was like, I'm glad I showed you this.
So you spoke, Randy, about Cap having the hammer, but what did we think about that moment when he summoned it?
Like I think I said it in my spoiler-free review. Like I never clap at big moments, like the reveal of Cap in Infinity War, etc. Like big ass moments. Like when Cap caught Mjolnir, I clapped. Like that was the coolest part of the movie for me.
That was good because it made sense. Like it was one of those things where like you might get one of those like the kid from the Polar Express being like, well, actually, like it just like you couldn't do that. Like I don't know if he ever did that in the comic books. Like there's probably one where he did somewhere, but I'm like,
it is.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It's like, why wouldn't Captain America be worthy, of in the hammer. Like it was just satisfying. It was just one of those parts where it was like, yes, like we needed that to happen. It makes sense that happened.
No.
Cherry on top.
You take the small one.
I knew it.
Yeah. I don't think I caught that the first time, but the second time, like Thanos has Thor pinned down, and like you see the hammer come up, but Thor's not calling it.
Right.
And it flies past, and it comes back and knocks Thanos on his ass, and then goes to Cap. That hero pose.
The pose.
Yeah, bitch. And I knew it. It was real quick, but yeah, Thor, like cause he knew since Ultron. Like again, taking it back to Age of Ultron. Yeah. Steve is the only one to budge the hammer. Right. And I feel like if he would have kept going, he could have picked it up. And it was just like to show Thor, like if I wanted to
be worthy.
Yeah. And like that's all I know about the comics. That I think if Thor died, he like wanted Cap to inherit the hammer.
Yeah, like it just makes sense. Like it's just a satisfying thing. Like it wouldn't have made sense if someone else had lifted it. It just made sense. It's like, why wouldn't Steve Rogers be worthy of lifting the hammer? So now he is.
Vision picked it up. Could Bucky pick it up with his fake arm?
No.
We'll never find out, but
I don't think that's how it works.
He's a machine.
And just like keep going back to Ultron. They were asking a question. So you
goes
put
up
in an elevator, and the elevator goes up.
Mm-hmm. It's a machine. It's not worthy. Yeah, I mean, Ultron's a lot of fun, and like it ties heavily into all of this. And that's who, like, one of the characters we were asking, like, who comes back that didn't snap away, and no Vision.
Yeah, well, Vision before the snap.
Yep.
Nobody who didn't get snapped came back, which is kind of something I didn't, because like again, if they'd have just come walking out with everyone else, I wouldn't have questioned it. I'd have been like, oh, I guess that's how it works.
And that's technically, Gamora,
Gamora got to do it.
Yeah. Well, I like how they played that. It's just past Gamora.
Yeah.
Who's here now because she doesn't know Quill.
Yep. And that's who, like, he couldn't find her at the end. Right. So is this Guardians 3, is it just him looking for his girl who doesn't know or give a fuck about him?
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing. But if, like, you bring Gamora back, you have to make a case for bringing everybody back. Because that was, if I had to pick one thing that I didn't like about the movie, and it's not even, I mean, you can't get everything, I think is kind of the point. It's like, you can't all, you can't keep. I didn't like what happened to Nat. I think, I really just didn't. I think they're going through, and I've seen a couple jokes about it now, because they've been jokes and memes about the whole movie pretty much by now. Like, they're going through the whole plan. They're like, you go get this stone, you go get this stone, and Nat and Clint, y'all go get the Soul Stone. Nebula fucking knew, like, sitting there, that one of them was not going to come back from that. She didn't say anything.
True.
She should have been like, by the way.
She was raised by Thanos.
Because I just didn't, and there have been arguments that, like, her thinking that her life isn't, as worth living as Clint's and, like, this and that. I don't know about all that. I just didn't love that, like, 20-some movies in, and she's been in most of them. And she didn't get to be a part of the whole big fight at the end. Did, even though she died.
Well, you know what the reason?
The wrong way. Like, that was like just one thing that I was like, that's kind of lame. Everybody came, like, Pepper Potts got to be a part of the fight. And
she wasn't a part of the female.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. And, like, I liked that thing. Some people have, like,
people nitpicking. Oh, it was forced. And come on.
If there had been a bunch of dudes, like, we wouldn't have even thought of that. Like,
the whole battle was a bunch of dudes.
And, like, so, but I think, like, Nat should have been, like, front and center of the whole thing. Like, she should have showed up, like
Captain Marvel, Black Widow should have been, like, leading that pack. Like, she's not alone.
Yeah. But you know what?
One of the coolest scenes of Infinity War.
Nick, I think the reasons you saying you don't like it is the reason why they put more weight to it from a positive spin, because she is who she is, and you wouldn't expect that to happen, and she sacrifices herself because Barton wants to be with his family. He wants to be retired. And no, we don't want to see her. I didn't want to see her die and this and that. And
the only thing in the whole movie, because you think, is they're on their way. And I'm like, the whole time, I'm thinking they have to sacrifice something they love. So I'm looking in my head, watching the scene, like, well, what does that mean without either one of them dying?
Yep.
And then just one of them dies. And I was like, I'm mad that, not that the writers didn't do enough. Like, I'm over here complaining like they didn't make an awesome movie. But I'm like, I just was hoping like they'd pull something out of left field, like, bullshit. Like, it wouldn't have been hard to like convince me that like, oh, you both jumped off the cliff, so you get the stone, or some
that they
some loophole.
Like, oh, okay, that's how it works. Cool.
I'm sitting there like I'm so locked into like what's going on in the scene that we're in. They're in the ship. This is pretty far from Bucharest. I look over to my wife like, no, one of them's gonna die.
Yeah. Like, oh yeah, they're going to.
Yeah, they're going to get the Soul Stone. Like it clicked in the moment. Like, no, they're going to get the Soul Stone. One of them's not coming back. Then somebody also brought up, shouldn't Cap returning the stone, plugging it back in, get that soul back?
But then again, it goes to the thing that because the old Gamora is still gone.
I don't make enough money for all this, so I don't know.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, like, I'm not a scientist.
Yeah.
I don't know any of it. It would have taken nothing to just convince me that, like, they snapped and brought everybody back. Like,
yeah. Hulk said he tried.
Vision had just flying in there. I'd have been like, oh, they got Vision back. Oh,
yeah.
Look, there he is. Like, it would have taken, I wouldn't have given it a second thought. I'd been like, I guess that's just.
And also, Randy, you mentioned that. Imagine what that conversation would have been like. Cap returning the Soul Stone. Oh, hey, Red Skull.
Yeah, that too. This movie could have pushed 4 hours. With everything that they cut out.
I thought when Clint was like the floating red guy. Go talk to him.
Yeah, and then it didn't click.
I was gonna but that didn't happen.
Yeah,
I wanted to see Cap.
Thinking like 3 hours is so long, and it didn't.
It didn't feel like it.
The pacing, at least in the Avengers movies, I'm not speaking for the whole universe, but at least in the Avengers movies, the pacing is phenomenal. Whether it's Joss Whedon or the Russos, like the pacing is amazing.
Yeah, they're like the longest ones.
Yeah.
Like Civil War is like really long. Like so much happens in that movie, and I forgot. But I've read it a few times, and like it's so good. Like there's no part. Like everybody's talking about Endgame. Like when's a good time to go pee? And like I've heard
it's really
none.
San Francisco pops up, and I'm like, that's when Ant-Man comes back. Like,
yeah.
You can't go pee then. They're like, when Hulk is having lunch. And I'm like...
but is Hulk having lunch? You're going to miss it.
Yeah.
You're going to miss why he's the Hulk. Hulk and not want to go pee.
It's like, if you get up and pee at all during this movie, you're either missing great character development, some kind of heartfelt, emotional moment, or bananas action.
Yeah. There's so much, like, you go pee, come back, and you just, like, ask whoever you're with, like, what did I miss? And they're after everything so much for like a 5-minute bathroom break. Like,
dude, you might as well leave. You missed too much.
Like,
I want to ask you this. I'm gonna say a name to both of you and tell me if you know him. LaShawn McCoy.
Oh yeah, he all over Twitter. Just
Nick, you know anything about this?
Spoiled the moment.
I heard that like. Was he like the rest in peace, my man Tony Stark guy?
That was his second tweet. His first tweet, I'm done with Marvel. They killed my boy. And then he did something that was kind of, I don't know if it was on purpose or he's just stupid, but it was trollish nonetheless. You know how you could block certain phrases on Twitter. He spelled Tony, Toney. Yeah,
so everybody saw it.
Yeah. He tweeted the second one. Rest in peace to my boy Tony. You asshole.
He won't be picked on my fantasy football team this year. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's terrible, man.
And it was like what, Saturday?
It wasn't. It was when was the movie released officially? The 26th,
5th, 6th.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, it was the day of or the day after.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Mhm.
I haven't even said anything yet. Like I haven't been on Twitter like.
This is the first, I'm putting, any details about this movie out into the open.
Yeah.
For, the 12 people that are going to watch or listen to this.
Yeah, but that's just horrible. You ruined... Yeah. Did you hear about the guy in China?
Mm-mm. I don't think so.
So, the premiere or the first showing of Endgame and think Hong Kong, some guy came out the theater after seeing the movie, just started blurting out spoilers to the next crowd that was coming in, and basically they whooped his ass.
Good.
I heard somebody. I didn't know if it was China, but I heard somebody got like the shit.
Yeah, that's the one I heard about. They
Like, you can act like that, like, wow, that's too much. But it's like, people don't, like, we all go see movies because that's like our thing. Like,
Mm.
you know, we go see them as often as we can. People don't do that.
Yeah.
So a lot of times for people to go and shell out 10, 13, even like $20 for like a movie ticket, like that's like a big deal. It's like we're taking we are invested in this movie. So like for someone to come out and do that,
Waste your money.
so shitty. Like that, like people act like it's not that serious.
There is some, but look what we're talking about. You know, here in this podcast, we're talking about like Randy, how we reacted to Cap getting a millionaire, and
God.
you know the emotional moments. You know, that's and then have it spoiled.
Real life that way. Like firemen could be saving babies out of a burning house, and I'd be like, oh, that's cool.
Right.
Like Cap catching the hammer, I'm like, yes, that's
Right.
That's
But
we did it.
I just wanted to bring that up about you know, don't spoil the end game, and he just did that. That's a cardinal sin. That's just come on, you.
I don't know if it was Heroic Hollywood, but I read that like I read a soldier like went AWOL to see this movie, like it was that deep, and of course he got arrested. Of course he got snatched up.
Wow.
Or like, do you think he regrets it?
Probably not, because he's probably fresh out of high school and doesn't understand how strict military life really is.
Yeah, that's a good point.
When he gets dishonorably discharged over a movie, then it's gonna be like, yeah, it probably wasn't that worth. It wasn't worth it like that because now I can't get a real job.
Mm.
That was a good movie. Like that movie didn't disappoint.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah, no.
2012, seeing the first Avengers and that mid-credit scene where Thanos turns around and like
nobody knew who he was.
Right.
Like there was this kid in the theater who just started yelling Thanos, like he started yelling, like he was so happy, and like his friends were laughing and whatnot. He got out to the lobby, and he walked out the door and just yelled Thanos, like
wow.
I was like, but it was. And then I remembered it was like we saw it at midnight, like back when that was a thing. So it was like 2 in the morning. So I was like, nobody cares. Like nobody cares.
Ironically,
like, there are people that just do that. Like
when I first saw the Avengers, somebody stood up in the middle of the theater at the end of the end tag and yelled shawarma.
It's like
I made that up.
Spoiler. Like, but there are people that just do that. Like they just get excited. They might not realize they're doing it, but like those are the people you have to look out for too.
Yeah.
Like there are trolls, and I feel like I don't know. Like
I think LaShawn McCoy was straight troll. Like, I'm a famous NFL running back. I'm going to do this. What are you going to do to me? And your shit was excitement.
Yeah, 800,000 followers, and then he does it twice.
Yeah.
And within minutes. So you come on, you know you being a. Oh, once again, if you didn't see the first tweet,
Tony Stark dies, and it's like, oh, God.
We pushing toward an hour, so let me break this off real quick. All right, but I think in closing, I want to just like touch on the battle, or maybe like moments we missed, like that big like 35, 45 minute long battle, Cap catching the hammer, and like I think the second coolest part was you know the little voice in Cap's head on your left, then everybody comes through the Doctor Strange sling circles. That was cool.
Yeah,
that was like probably the best way to do it. I mean,
yeah.
Just to ask, like it was, you know, I can't imagine them just showing up. Like, wouldn't
hey guys,
that little quiet moment before the mayhem. I thought
the mayhem, yeah.
Really. And it's the moment also when Cap, then he was getting his ass kicked, and he just like, I'm like, man, it might be Cap that's gonna get off. Then they got that in the ear.
I think was it maybe an hour in where we got to see 5 years later we got to see Pepper, Tony. They had a kid. Tony got his happy ending with an hour into the movie. So
Yeah, there you go.
right then, I started to have a feeling like I think I know where this is going.
Mm-hmm.
I had my worries. I also and I was kind of like, well, maybe they don't want to do that now because
he can win each way.
The next generation with him now, so
Yeah.
maybe they don't want to. But what do I know? Not much. So, but I thought I liked that a lot. Like I loved that, he retreated to like his cabin and was living the quiet life. I liked those scenes, like those little.
Yeah.
It just like it made it more emotional. Like it just worked, and like the thing with his daughter and John Favreau at the end, like
cheeseburger,
almost throwaway scene, but like the cheeseburger, like it just worked.
It tied back to the first movie.
Like it just was good. Like the Russo brothers are just better than most at balancing those huge moments and those tiny moments really well.
That makes me want to ask, like, what was your favorite? There were so many references to past movies. Like, what was your favorite callback, like fan service moment? Because you had the cheeseburger that goes all the way back to the first movie. You had Hail Hydra when he's trying to get the scepter. There were tons.
So I guess I'll tell you mine. Right after the Hail Hydra moment with Cap is when he runs into himself and they're fighting in the past Cap. I could do this all day.
I know. Yeah, that was great.
That had me on the floor.
Yeah,
I love that.
The whole 2012 sequence, just like that they made room for everybody to be at, like Robert Redford showed up.
Yeah.
Showed up, and all the dudes he got in the elevator. Like even
all the original
getting in the elevator was like a throwback to the other time he got in an elevator.
Frank Grillo.
And, just all of it, that they made room for all that and had some fun with them on the elevator and the stairs. And I just love that they had fun and added all those characters. It was like a giant, because you could watch the movie and still enjoy that part without really knowing, but it was just, the whole thing was like a giant love letter to if you watched all 22 movies,
right,
Robert Redford, here's all these guys, here's Loki turning into Cap again, and here's them going down the elevator and the Hulk has to take the stairs, and
so many stairs.
It was hilarious. And
did you all catch? There was a little line. I think it was Tony Stark, 2012. Tony Stark when Loki I think I'll take that drink, and then a little bit after that, okay, we could pose some more later or something like that.
No,
it was just and then Thor bringing him back to life with his hammer, and he was I had no idea that would.
Yeah,
it was just funny to see those versions one more time, I guess.
But then the ant on the wall, Ant-Man was money through that whole sequence. How did you guys not? These guys look like bad guys. How could you not tell?
Yeah.
And this is fanboying for Captain America, like we said earlier.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
There you go.
So that whole scene, and then seeing the Ancient One, and
that was cool.
They made room for all of that in this movie. It was just like a giant thank you for watching this for 11 years. And if you haven't, you can still enjoy it. But it was still here's this, and here's this, and here's this. And they went back to 1970, which I also loved. Although I thought they could have done, I was trying to think, maybe not. I was Lawrence Fishburne could have been there. That's the only thing. But then maybe 1970s, pretty long ago. He'd have probably been.
That was one of my favorite Easter eggs, seeing the OG original Ant-Man helmet when they went all the way back to 1970.
That was awesome.
That was cool.
Dude, I have a delay on my video, and it's bothering me.
Just a tad. I see it.
Yeah.
It's you're dubbed, you're
a old kung fu movie.
I'm a 1950s Godzilla movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can tell you one thing that I was wrong about, and the Russos have confirmed it. So Spider-Man Far From Home is going to take place after Endgame.
That's what I had heard. That's what Real Cinematics would post that, because some kid asks him every week when he does those Q&As, when does Spider-Man take place?
But it's like nobody knows. Like
Yeah.
we guess and like we assume, but we don't know until we know. My own thing is okay. So everybody who got snapped came back, and it is 5 years.
I know where you're going.
When he's still in high school.
Yeah.
He and Ned are still in high school. So does that? And I'm like, okay, maybe they both got snapped, and maybe they both came back like, oh shit, Peter, and like. But in Far From Home, all those kids are back.
Yes.
So they all get snapped?
Yeah,
I
like
guess so. That's
Spider
a lot of
was it Peter and his whole core group of friends, Flash, Zendaya, Ned, Martin
Like,
Starr,
other kids.
all the teachers, like all the primary cast of these Spider-Man movies all got decimated, but all their classmates were in like third grade when the snap happened.
Yeah. And it's probably just going to be a throwaway line to explain it all in Far From.
For sure.
Aunt May is still hot.
Of course.
I'm saying it's like in 5 years. I'm not saying that.
Happy Hogan needed a love interest.
She still looks the same. So, I don't know. They're going to, maybe, and again, maybe they doctored up the trailer. I don't know. I don't know why to do that. That seems like a bit much. Like, if those kids had not been in the trailer, I don't think I would have. I'd still be questioning. I'd be like, wait, so this is after Endgame?
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I'm still excited for it. They'll explain it somehow. Unless they don't.
Yeah, no, I think they would. Like, it'll be some. It has to, well, it doesn't have to be, but I think it will just be a little throwaway line and like, oh yeah, isn't it funny that we all get,
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of how what Peter say, like, hey, I passed out and I woke up and you were gone. Doctor Strange said we had to go back to help out or whatever he said.
Yeah.
It's been 5 years. So, like, 5 years have passed since, like, presumably Peter Parker is going to come back to Earth. And, like, if Aunt May didn't get snapped, she's going to be like, holy shit, you've been gone for 5 years.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. They have to explain it somehow, I guess.
That was another part where onions were definitely being cut, where Tony and Spider-Man got to, like, reconnect for that little bit.
Yeah, that was nice. And it was so short because they had, like, work to do.
They were in the middle of the shit.
Like when he was, like, down there and, like, Captain Marvel came down, she was like, hey, Peter Parker. Like, he looked like shit. Like, he looked like he had, like, taken so many hits just flying around with the glove.
Yeah.
And something I loved about the end battle was like everybody worked together. Like Clint had the glove, then Black Panther came out and had the glove.
Yeah.
Spider-Man was like, "I'll take it." Like they all just like worked, really assembled, and it was nice.
And that was let's get to the big emotional moment because that was another callback to the original movie. 11. We've been with this one character 11 years. He puts it on. He, inspires an action figure. Oh, we talked about that off camera though. He says it, I am Iron Man, and he takes that sacrifice play that he was told in the original Avengers that he never had the character to do. It saves everybody. Like, it sucks. Like, I wanted Tony to become the new Nick Fury, pop in this movie, pop out of that movie, but
that might happen.
He goes out in the most heroic fashion anybody could have possible and just saves everybody.
Yep.
Because it builds up. Doctor Strange just put up his finger. And
Yeah, this is the one way. This is the one way that works. But like that's another loophole that I think that like it was kind of explained to me like at work but it's never explained in the movie. The way that I think Infinity War explained the gauntlet was just Thanos snapped and at random half the people disappeared. But then I guess the Hulk put on the gauntlet and you snap and it's like a mental connection. People come back or leave however you choose. So when Tony snaps, it's Thanos, the Chitauri, the Black Order, those nasty dog things that were in Wakanda. And so it's mentally whoever you decide.
Right. Thanos, I guess he probably chose the half and half, but he just chose to make it that half.
Yeah. He said, let me keep the Avengers that will defeat me.
Yeah, that's it. Like, he didn't know.
Yeah, but he didn't know.
That's when I thought, like, it's just what's in your heart. Like, you just use your heart and you snap.
Yeah, there you go.
At that same time,
walking out, I wouldn't have had any.
if I'm in Wakanda and I have Stormbreaker in my chest and I snap, this motherfucker that hit me in the chest is definitely gone.
Yeah. And be like, fuck you. Like, that would have been my last. That would have been my moment. But like, that was, and I thought that like all through like when Thor, Cap, and Iron Man were fighting Thanos, I was like, Hulk snapped, and Ant-Man walked out and was like, guys, I think it worked.
Yeah.
And then like, shit hit the fan, and so I was thinking that throughout. I was like, did it work? I was like, he came back like, does this mean it didn't work? And then right when I was starting to think that was when we got the on your left, and I was like, oh, thank God.
Did he like did Ant-Man give that line before or after Hawkeye's phone rang?
I think it was right. It was right before.
Okay.
Then
yeah, that was like the cue up. Okay, there's a line. Cue the phone. Linda Cardellini.
Yeah, and it was like so it worked in theory, and then it was like Thanos exploded the whole building, and I was like, oh well, I guess it didn't.
And then that too, I think that was another mind twisting so essentially Guardians of the Galaxy 2014 Thanos snaps away, which means Infinity War Thanos is gone, right? He never goes and gets the stones. So Infinity War never happens. So then I'm confusing myself, giving myself a headache trying to explain it.
That's
now the way that you said it is actually the way they said it doesn't work.
Of course.
That's like the whole movie. They were like,
right.
So kill your past self, then your future self doesn't exist. And they're like, no, stupid. Like, that's the whole movie. They're like, no, that would be dumb. It's like Nebula shot herself.
Yeah, but her future self the current self was still alive.
And I was like, oh, does that mean she's going to die? I was like, oh.
Yeah, the way they explained it, when you go back to the past, your past now is your new future or something like that they were saying. But they named all the movies that we're used to. They're like Back into the Future or Time Cop and Looper.
That was my least favorite joke. Ant-Man saying Die Hard was like my least favorite joke. Like, why would you even consider that a time travel movie?
And it's just like he just wanted to be in the conversation. Yeah. That's something you would expect him to do.
Now, he contributed Hot Tub Time Machine, which may be the most unappreciated time travel movie.
But like, all those movies, it's like it makes sense. So that's why I said nothing about it really made sense.
Yeah.
So they could have just brought back, Nat. Like, she could have come walking out of one of those circles, and I'd have been like, oh, there she is. It worked.
Yeah, like, go back to Civil War and get Civil War Black Widow, and now she's Black Widow, and she's never dead.
I wouldn't have argued with it. Maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't. But I'm like, I wouldn't have argued. I'd have been like, oh, well, great. There's Loki. Great. Like, Loki's probably still alive somewhere. Like, and like, Valkyrie came back on the horse. Like, where were Meek and Korg?
Playing Fortnite.
Like, yeah, they were playing Fortnite.
Oh, did anybody know what's happening?
I saw a pic and like tried to see it the second time.
I called him the first time. I don't know why. It's a blink if you miss it moment. I'm like, oh, because he's like right.
What's it, man? You got real staticky on my end. I didn't hear any of the question.
Oh, and I was saying, did you notice that Howard the Duck was there in the final battle?
I did not. This was like a Ready Player One battle. Like, I gotta go back and see it again because there's stuff that I clearly missed.
Yeah, I saw a picture of that, but thought maybe it was fake. And I didn't see it in the. But you are confirming it was in the movie.
Yeah, if it was what I saw, it's a blink and you miss it moment. Then I'm like, wait a minute, but
that's dope.
I'm gonna see it at least one more time. So
yeah,
I'm gonna look harder for it the next time. But it also kind of makes me mad. Like Howard the Duck is in it, but
So
is Howard the Duck an Avenger now?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah,
and I see that the Black Widow thing is really getting you down. I see Nick.
It's just something about it just rubs me the wrong way. Like everybody got to come for that big ass fight.
Yeah. But like I said, I think that's part of the reason for it is an emotional connection. She was there.
Yeah.
The time, he had
Gamora got to be there. Like, she died and got to be like, why didn't they just go back in time? Like I said, it was like real hard it was like there's no way they could have done that. Then I'd have been like, okay, like they could have done it so easily. Like, they could
As
have
many
just been
times as
like,
Loki's come back, Black Widow
Yeah.
could have come back.
Yeah.
Go back in time and get her from the past. I'd have been like, all right, that makes sense to me, I guess. I mean, that I just can't, like, it would have been so easily just explained away. Like, did you ever see Thank Smoking? When he's like, thank God we got the whatever device. Like, I always think that, like,
Right, some MacGuffin.
yeah, like, there's just like, thank God we can, as long as we return them. And then, like, maybe she could have died at the end,
Yeah.
like, said bye or whatever. Been like, I gotta go back or some shit. I'd have been like, well, at least you got to fight, you know, in the fight.
Yeah.
It was like Wanda came back and was like so sick. She was like, you took everything from me.
Like, I
Yeah.
don't even know who you are.
Oh, like
Such
Thanos,
a-
like he knew he was done. Like Thanos knew he was done when Scarlet Witch got a hold of him, so he was just like, "Fuck it, kill all the soldiers, just do something to get me away from her."
Yeah.
And like, man, how satisfying was it to finally hear Cap say "Avengers Assemble"?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we.
satisfying. Except Nat wasn't there.
Yeah,
She was-
99% of Avengers assemble.
Right.
Most of us, people that have never been with us before,
And like, what a dick move on Doctor Strange and Wong's part. Is that everybody? You wanted more? Black Widow, duh.
it's like
Yeah.
kind of did. Like Yondu could have come out. Like they could have
Yeah.
brought everybody back. I would have said nothing. I'd have been like,
I've been saying it for like the past month. Yondu should have been in these Avengers movies.
yeah, like just even for that, like they could have explained it away later and just been like, well, they gotta go.
Yeah.
So,
But you gotta have, I guess,
Yeah.
consequences and
Yeah.
have it set in stone. But
I don't know. Like it just.
That's for everybody.
I feel like I'm nitpicking. Like I'm asking.
But even then, going back to that, that scene on Boromir, who would everybody expect to die?
I just think like the trade-off was cool. Like neither
Yeah.
one of them wanted the other one to go.
Right. And it was a good scene, and the Hawkeye we've come to respect him a lot now, but back in Hawkeye,
I thought he was badass in the first Avengers movie, even
Oh, he
though
was
he was
awesome, yeah.
mind
Yeah, he's
controlled.
cool and everything.
Yeah.
He's just like kind of been the most expendable Avenger.
This is
ever.
Renner's best performance in the whole universe.
Dying. Yeah. Like
yeah,
people dying instead of him, like Quicksilver and
right.
Yeah.
And even in Ultron, he poked fun at himself, and he like this and that, and
I'm
I
carrying
got
the
a
bow and arrow.
and-
Hera.
Yeah,
So
nothing
good.
makes sense.
It's like he doesn't just have a bow and arrow. Like Bucky comes out there with a regular ass gun, and like we don't make fun of him. Like,
Yeah.
But he
that's
got
all
the
he
he got the super arm though.
No,
And, like-
all Bucky's jokes come from his relationship and closeness with Steve Rogers.
Yeah,
But it's like we're making fun of Hawkeye. It's like he has like arrows that explode and like shock people and do all this stuff. And it's like what a dork.
He was called
Yeah.
Legolas in the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
yeah. Like better clinch up, Legolas.
Yeah. But
God, that's going ahead past Spider-Man, even with Spider-Man, Phase 4, 5, 27, 132, however deep they want to go, dude, I'm gonna miss Tony's one-liners.
Yeah,
Either
Yeah,
the
that-
writing or Robert Downey Jr.'s just off-the-cuff wit is just gonna be sorely missed.
and something I read recently that I assume is true is that they didn't have much of a working script when they started filming the first Iron Man, like
Oh yeah,
outlines and stuff like that. So much of that character just is Robert Downey
Yeah.
Jr. doing what he would assume he would do in the situation. So much of it is just his own voice, and
Mhm.
so that's what every movie he was in, he added to that movie substantially. It was almost like Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool. It's like you take like a normal action movie and then just put
just born.
personality.
yeah.
And speaking of that, Nick, one of everybody's favorite line from Endgame is Robert Downey Jr.'s.
Yeah,
I love you 3000.
3000.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I forgot what they said. The screenwriters, when I was reading this article, they said they put something else.
bunches or tons or something.
Yeah. And he just came with the I love you 3000. And
it just worked. Like it whatever he said probably would have worked the same way. Like if he just said like,
Because I think the little girl said it, and it was so cute.
Right.
yeah, and like the little girl when she was like, he said shit.
Shit.
And she was like, shit. She was like, he's like, I've got important shit going on. Like that was just funny. Like
Yeah.
that's just
Yeah, Morgan Stark was the best.
Yeah.
And here's something we haven't. It's a cameo we haven't spoken about.
Kim Jong.
Oh, yeah, that's his community. That's for the Russo's community. Wink.
Who's the chick? Yvette Nicole Brown.
Yeah.
Yep, community.
Got it. If you're not talking about Stan Lee, then I'm out of cameos.
The Russo brother himself.
Oh yeah. Like, it was cool. Like it's 2019. Like I don't get hit in the heart by like OMG a gay guy in a Marvel movie. Like it's 2019. Like
yeah,
gay people are everywhere. It's acceptable to be gay. Like nobody's gonna. I don't know. Like I just don't get overcome with any emotion because this is the norm. Like people are people. You love how you love. This dude went on a date. It's 5 years later.
Right.
I don't know. It wasn't a big thing to me, but yeah, he was in Winter Soldier. He's been in and out of a couple movies.
Popping up. And which one is he? That's my question. That's more my question than anything.
Like which Joe or who's the other Russo brother?
Yeah, Anthony and Joe. Well, no, it's
his face looks like he could be either.
Right. Well, it was a neat little cameo, and like he said, and I think it puts that out there. It's not a big deal, but it's
and
it's
then
the world.
They've already said that like one of the Eternals is going to be gay, and it even takes me back to Star Trek Beyond. Like John Cho was gay in Star Trek. That's cool. Like it didn't do anything for me with the plot. Like he hugged his family and they moved on. He hugged a guy.
Right.
Big deal.
Like they put it. I think they just put it in there. Like. Yeah, this is this, and like
right, yeah,
this choice, but we made this choice.
Yeah,
and then people on Twitter kind of like they were like, "This is the first openly gay person in the MCU," and then everybody's like, "Wow, way to do the bare minimum."
Yeah,
and I'm like, "You're making it a big deal, like when I don't."
Right.
Even but my thing is, like, I don't know if anybody else saw Captain Marvel's haircut.
I wanted to bring that up too.
That was the only gay character in the movie, and that's not even me. Like, I think that's the route that they're gonna go, and that's gonna. Which is fine with me. It makes sense in my head. I don't know.
And it's a little.
It's going to come up later. They're going to be like, is this the gay feminist icon that we've always wanted? It's going to be like, oh, no. Like,
but
eventually we're going to get to a point where we can just do it, and it's just going to be like, oh, cool. But I guess we have to do it more often for it to get to that point. So,
and you mentioned Captain Marvel with that, but there's something in that, the scene where they're all talking on the hologram.
Yeah.
And Captain Marvel and
Fuzzface.
Rhodey is there and Rocket. And it's a little moment that's shared between Rhodey and Captain Marvel. I think she said something to him, or how you doing, or it's something. I forget exactly what it was, but
they exchanged dialogue.
Out. What's that?
They exchanged dialogue.
Yeah, and
they're like, good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah. It's like,
but it might as well have been that because in the comics they do become a thing, and I think that was probably a wink at anybody who would know that because they looked and the way I'm like, that's
so Captain Marvel just be throwing the ass around then, don't she? Because I took the "Hey Peter Parker" as the acknowledgement that Captain Marvel and Spider-Man have a thing too. So she just be throwing the ass out there.
I looked at the.
But then again, she's jailbaiting with Peter Parker.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because he's not 23; he's still like 16.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't get that vibe. The '90s boy haircut. I was convinced immediately. I was like, yep,